Hi, my name's Steve and welcome to the Seaside Allotment channel, and it's a pretty grim day today, loads of rain, so I've just been tidying up, but I thought it was a great opportunity to introduce something I've been doing for maybe actually the whole of this year so far, which is I've been keeping an allotment diary, and it's available online. And you know, all you have to do is you need to go to my website and you can subscribe to that, or you can bung your email in and get the diary each week in your email. And I've worked pretty hard on this diary, mainly for myself, because I find it incredibly useful to look back in this diary at what I've been doing each week in the previous year. And obviously I use the YouTube videos for that purpose as well, but there's no comparison really. The diary is just fantastic for that purpose. So yeah, I'm going to get on the computer in a minute and I'm going to show you what's in this diary, and I'd love your feedback, you know, in terms of what useful information could I put in the diary that other people might find useful that maybe I don't realise at the moment. And also, you know, if you keep a diary, let me know about that. And basically any hints and tips, because I'm still learning very much as a gardener, and this is just one of my many learning tools. So yeah, with that, let's get out of this polytunnel, get home, and I'll show you the diary. Okay, so on the computer, and if you want to take a look at my diary, then you can click here on allotment diary, and that will just take you to the diary entries. If you're interested in the allotment videos, click allotment videos, and if you're just interested in all of my allotment related blog posts, which includes the videos and the diary entries and anything else allotment related, just click there and then you get a full list. But since this is all about the diary, let's click here. Now at this point, let's just talk about how you can get access to this. So the easiest way is to put your email address in this box here, and then every time I post an entry, actually whether it's a diary entry or just a video, you'll get an email with all of the information relating to that. You can subscribe via RSS, and you know that's a pretty good way of doing it as well. But just adding your email address to this box here is the easiest thing to do. So let's just have a look at a diary entry, and we'll just scroll through here. And I'm really interested to see whether there's anything that people think would be useful to add to this diary, beyond what I've already got, because you know right now I'm at the point where I'm not really motivated to do any more work on this diary, but if you know it's useful to other people, then that might motivate me to do some more work. Okay, so I'll start off with just a review of the allotment finances. So I've got the running total, which is £2,408 worth of veg harvested this year, and we've actually spent £672 this year. So yeah, and then if there's any big purchases, I'll have a comment about those later. So then just a summary of what we've harvested. So for example, last week we harvested £193 worth of veg, and then there's a list of the things that we actually harvested, which I think is pretty useful. I like to look at that list. And then a little bit about the number of people that we're feeding. So at the moment we're feeding 20 people from the allotment. Then a little review of what we've bought this week. So, well, last week last week we bought a wheelbarrow. And then videos that I published. Well, last week I was quite prolific. I published these 3 videos. And then what I've sown. So this comes straight out of my sowing log database, and so I sowed potatoes, French beans, chard, cucumbers and gherkins last week. What I've planted, so this is stuff that I've planted in the ground generally, and last week was the big brassica planting, and I also planted my potatoes, and occasionally I'll bung a photograph in there. What I've potted on, so Aztec broccoli, calabrese, graffiti cauliflowers, golden purslane. Those were what I potted on last week. And then the first harvests of the year. So this week was carrots and green garlic. And what we've run out of in the store. So we ran out of dried pears and winter squash. I actually need to do a slightly better job of this, what we've run out of, because we actually ran out of those a few weeks ago. But I'm thinking of starting just to put a list of things we've run out of with the date on them when we ran out, because I think that's actually more useful. Eventually I'm going to add some of this information to my database, but for now it's just in the diary. And then last harvest, so it was the last harvest of the celery, and it was the last harvest of last year's kale. Last week. So what's left in store? Well, we've still got a few potatoes, just a few garlic, but we're replacing that with green garlic now, and we've also got some pickled garlics, carrots. Well, we did a half a big box, but I've actually harvested all of those, and only half of those were usable, but fortunately we're harvesting fresh carrots again now. Onions, third of a large box. We're pretty close to having onions, but obviously we've got spring onions. Shallots, third of a large box. We're pretty close to having new shallots. Beets were a few months away, but we've got loads in store. Dried apples, one big bag, but one big cool bag full of small bags. And we're a long way, of course, from having allotment apples. Water reserves, well, I'm not tracking that now, but I will be tracking the water reserves again once the taps are switched off. What have we processed for preserving? Well, often people gift us tomatoes in return for veg that we give them. And sometimes we get loads, and so this was one of those weeks, and so Debbie made a batch of passata. Highlights, so this is where I can just put anything that I'm interested in. Well, we harvested our first carrots, and they were amazing after eating stored carrots for quite a few months now. And I managed to tidy up the polytunnel, and so it was a real mess, as you can see in that photo. It's all looking nice and neat now. And Jennie's plot has been completely cleared and composted and mulched, and the beam frames have been put up. All the brassicas have been planted. And I won't go through this, but I've been reflecting on, and will probably continue reflecting on for a while, what my new challenges are for the allotment, because I pretty much met all of my existing challenges. We're harvesting a huge amount, we're fully self-sufficient, my workload's pretty low, so what's the next challenge? A few low lights, and that's it. So that is my allotment diary. Now, if you're interested in any of that information, bung your email address in there, and every week, hopefully on a Sunday, I normally write it in a cafe on Sunday morning, you'll get this information. And as I say, I'm pretty happy to add more information if anybody would find it useful. So there you go. Okay, let me know in the comments what you think. Any advice, any tips, any extra information requests, and I'll do what I can. I'll see you soon.